Найджел у нас где-то здесь уже. Выходите уже. Я свой... Вот, как вас зовут? Да. Найджел будет общаться через Ольгу, это переводчик, поэтому впоследствии не стесняйтесь опять же задавать вопросы. Собственно, да, конечно, ставьте. И это первый лектор за сегодня, который сразу сказал: да какая презентация? Я презентация, сказал он. Вот. И поэтому он честно будет выступать без презентации, а я передаю микрофон Найджел. Hello, Найджел.
Hello.
И передаю микрофон переводчику Ольге. Прошу.
Hi.
Привет.
Normally I would speak about the psychological,
Обычно я говорю о социологических,
the physical and social
физических и социальных аспектах
consequences of becoming an amputee.
того, как человек становится
But I'm not going to do that
ампутантом, но
today.
я не буду говорить в этот
I'm going
раз
to try
об этом.
something new.
Я кое-что новое для вас хочу
So
сказать.
we'll start a little bit about the history of prosthetics.
Кое-что об истории протезов.
Prosthetic arms have been around for more than 500 years.
История протезов насчитывает более
And
400
usually they are
лет.
cosmetic.
Изначально они были такие косметические.
They've got no function.
У них нет функции.
They just look
Они
like a
просто
hand.
выглядят подобно руке.
They were always made by skilled craftsmen.
Они всегда были сделаны
Skilled craftsmen? Craftsmen.
как тем,
Skilled
кто мог
people.
да,
And because of
подобными людьми,
this,
кто мог
they were always expensive, and
всегда они
only
были дорогими.
wealthy people could really afford to wear them.
И только богатые люди могли себе их позволить.
If you didn't have money, you went without.
Если у вас нет денег, то вы не могли им воспользоваться.
Over the years, they've been made from iron.
Много лет они были сделаны из
Iron and steel and copper,
железа, металла
and they've been carved from wood.
и даже дерева.
Nowadays, they're made from foam and they have a silicon cover.
Сейчас вот они могут иметь силиконовое покрытие.
This is a cosmetic hand.
Это такая косметическая рука.
And then about 100 or so years ago,
Больше 100 лет назад.
the world was at war. The world was at war.
Простите, я не слышу отсюда.
And during World
Война.
War I, approximately 200 people every single day,
И больше 200 людей каждый день
they had their arms or legs blown off.
теряли конечности,
So
ноги.
the focus then became on something that was functional.
И фокус в том, что они теряли функциональность.
It was necessary for these guys, when they came back from the war,
И когда люди возвращались с войны,
to be able to find jobs.
для них было сложно найти работу.
So the split hook was invented.
И
This is a split hook. It's body powered,
это крюки.
and as you can see, it's quite beautiful.
Они прекрасны.
So basically, you move one shoulder,
Фактически
And it
вот так вот
opens.
двигаете плечом.
and you move this, and it
И вот так вот
closes.
они открываются и закрываются.
I've been an amputee for 10 years. I've never yet seen a woman wearing one of these.
И я уже больше 10 лет.
I don't know
Вот
why.
я ни разу не видела женщину, чтобы она вот так вот носила.
So these are the most common prosthetics that you'll see today.
Это наиболее обычные протезы, которые сейчас производятся.
They're very strong.
Они очень крепкие,
They're difficult to break,
для них сложно сломать их,
easy to repair,
сложно просто починить,
and they're pretty cheap to
и
replace.
достаточно они дешевые.
These are the prosthetics that are the choice of governments.
И это протезы, которые выбрало правительство.
So we'll get rid of that. And then we move on to what's called myoelectric.
Сейчас смотрим миоэлектрику.
Now myoelectric is basically your body's own ability to produce electricity.
Фактически миоэлектрика — это то, что вот все люди, которые дееспособны, производится электричество.
When you want to open your hand,
Когда вы хотите открыть руку,
your body produces electricity through
происходит
the
электрический
nerves.
сигнал по нервам,
Your muscles contract
мышца сокращается,
and your hand opens.
и кисть открывается.
It's the same principle with myoelectric.
Такой же принцип у миоэлектрики.
This is a standard myoelectric.
Это стандартный миоэлектрический протез.
Now I have an electrode here,
Здесь находится электрон с этой
and I have
стороны.
another
И
electrode
здесь еще
here.
один электрод.
If I want to open this
Если я хочу открыть их,
and make this muscle contract,
я сокращаю внешнюю мышцу.
the electrode picks that contraction as a signal
Электрод улавливает сигнал, как
It sends it
сокращение
down.
мышцы,
through to the prosthetic,
и передает его на протез.
and there's a big motor
И
in
там
here,
находится мотор,
and it opens.
он открывается.
If I want to close it, I
Если я
make
хочу его закрыть,
this muscle contract,
эта
and
мышца
as you'll see,
сокращается,
the motor spins the other way.
мотор крутится в
and it
другую
closes.
сторону, и он закрывается.
Very easy.
Очень легко.
This one you can change the position,
Можно менять
or
позицию,
you can move it here.
переключать его в разные стороны,
Myoelectric.
передвигать. Миоэлектрика.
Now we're going to move on to the next version,
Переходим к следующей версии.
the Bebionic.
Bebionic.
This is myoelectric.
Это тоже миоэлектрический.
It works in exactly the same way
Он
as
точно так
this,
же работает, как при последней,
but it's slightly different.
но немножко отличается.
This has 5 motors,
Здесь
each
5
finger
моторчиков, 5 пальцев.
and the thumb, and it has software.
И там есть программное обеспечение.
I control it in exactly the same way.
И я управляю им точно
This
так
muscle,
же.
and it opens, and
Открываю.
this one and closes.
И закрываю.
A standard prosthetic will do this all day,
Обычные протезы делают только это.
but this one has 8 different hand patterns.
Но в этом есть 8 разных программ.
So I can open it, I give a second signal.
Могут подать второй сигнал.
This is what they call power grip. Power.
Вот, это захват сильный.
Power grip.
Да.
I can lift 50 kilos with this.
Я 50 килограмм могу поднять.
It's rated for 40 kilos, but
Ну,
you
может
know,
быть, около
you have
40.
to push these things. So it will lift 50 kilos.
До 50 килограмм можно поднять.
The socket itself is
Сам
a
вот этот
suction
носок,
fit.
который вот держится на руке,
So I push my arm into it.
я погружаю туда руку,
The air comes through this valve, and it
воздух
forms a
отсюда
vacuum.
выходит, и он держится за счет
And
вакуума.
it's quite a strong fit.
Он
So
достаточно плотно сидит.
if I can just use you, because you're a big bloke, if you take over there,
Просто потяните.
pull my arm off. Yeah. So one day, and down towards the end, this is where all the electronics are.
В этой части находится электроника.
It's controlled by my body's electronics,
Она контролируется
But
той
it's powered
электрикой, которая по телу
by
проходит.
batteries.
Но все равно
So
там моторчики,
I have my battery charging point,
И мне нужно заряжать,
just like an iPhone.
как телефон.
I plug it in at night and
Я заряжаю в розетку
go to sleep.
и ложусь спать.
This also has a wrist, an electronic wrist.
Здесь тоже есть запястье.
This means that I can move this around.
Единственное,
Without
имеется
having
в виду,
to
что я
use this
могу
hand.
двигать
So we've done my power grip.
Когда я делаю захват такой сильный,
Now I have what we call key grip. I use this when I'm reading my book.
можно переключить
you know,
большой
turn the
палец
page.
и вот что-то держать,
If I'm going to type,
лист.
I change the grip again.
Если нужно печатать, я тоже перехожу
It's
на
in the
другую
wrong
позицию.
position. So I activate my wrist,
Активирую запястье
and now I can type.
и могу печатать.
If I want to use my mouse,
Если я использую мышку,
I now have a mouse grip.
то есть специально для мышки захват.
And then if I've got this other grip here, I use this for scaring children.
Это есть для пугания детей.
It's this one.
Вот так.
And if that doesn't have the desired effect, well then we just keep
Для привлечения внимания.
spinning around.
Он просто крутится и все.
Obviously, you know, you then have to sort of tell kids that everything's okay. So
Если все окей, ну как бы
everything's
так.
okay. Now, this prosthetic I've had for 5 years.
Этому протезу 5 лет.
It might look really modern. I
Он
guess it
достаточно
is.
выглядит сейчас современно.
But myoelectric prosthetics have been around for a very long time. Myoelectric prosthetics.
Но вообще протезы миоэлектрические.
The first
Много лет уже делается.
myoelectric arm, which was fully contained like this,
Первая рука такая вот
was invented in 1958.
была в 1958 году.
Right here in
Прямо
Moscow.
здесь, в Москве.
The very first clinical trials in the world
Первые клинические испытания в мире
took place
Здесь,
right
в
here
Москве, тоже
in Moscow
проходили
in 1960.
в 1960-м.
And the first myoelectrics to be available to the public,
И первые
They were
миоэлектрические
made
протезы
10
были
kilometers down the
доступны
road in a
для
factory
публики
in
10
Moscow.
километров отсюда, в
So you
Москве.
guys were ahead of the world by a long, long time.
И вы, ребята, по всему миру что-то смотрите в Лондоне.
I guess the future of prosthetics really is going to be led by medical technology.
Я думаю, что будущее миоэлектрических протезов — это
The
больше
way-
медицинская технология.
The way we wear prosthetics, the way we control prosthetics.
Это то, как вы можете их носить и контролировать, управлять ими.
There is a lot of research going on in the medical world.
В медицинском мире сейчас очень много исследований проходит.
Some of it is awesome,
Некоторые из них такие особенные,
and some of it's quite scary.
некоторые даже пугающие.
Firstly, we have a technique called Osseointegration.
Есть технология
We had trouble translating this, so Osseointegration.
осеоинтеграция, когда имплантация в кость
Ba-
происходит.
Basically, you take a titanium pin
Берется титаниум,
and you put it into the
и он
bone,
составляется в кость,
and then
вживляется.
the bone and the tissue grows around the pin.
Кость его обрастает.
It might be easier if I just whip this off.
Может быть, будет легче вот так
And then you have the
показать.
pin sticking out like so.
Получается, что из руки торчит
You
металл.
then you plug the prosthetic onto the pin,
Просто на этот
and it
палочку
becomes
из
part of your
кости
body.
крепится протез.
I think for people who have very short limbs,
Я думаю, что люди, у которых есть
This is-
очень
this is the
короткие
future, without a
конечности,
doubt.
для них это будущее.
the only problem is controlling the prosthetic.
Единственная проблема — это контролировать протезы.
Normally the muscles, they've all gone.
А обычно мышцы тоже уходят.
So they have a new technique called TMR.
Есть другая технология, которая называется TMR.
This is targeted muscle reinnervation.
Это целенаправленная мышечная реиннервация.
What they do is they find the nerves that control these muscles,
Что делается? Находят именно те нервы, которые контролируют эти мышцы,
and then they move them,
и они переносятся в другую
and they
мышцу,
plant them here.
вот обычно на грудь.
Then they put the electrodes in these areas,
И ставятся электроды на эту зону.
so the amputee then controls these muscles.
И когда человек
And
с
the arm will
ампутированной
work.
рукой контролирует мышцу на груди,
A third technique is
двигается
called
рука.
targeted sensory reinnervation.
Еще есть технология целенаправленная сенсорная реиннервация.
Now this is brand new.
Это что-то
I
новое.
think it's been successful once so far.
Оно было успешно какое-то время назад, один раз.
And this is where they find the nerve that controls your sense of touch.
Нашли нерв, который контролирует ощущение прикосновения.
And they rewire that
И
so,
тоже его перенесли.
so that when you touch something with your prosthetic,
И вы что-то, когда
you can feel
чувствуете
it.
с протезом, вы чувствуете
Okay.
это.
you feel it here,
Да, вы чувствуете это здесь,
but it doesn't take long for your brain.
но мозг быстро достаточно перестраивается. И он начинает ассоциировать это с рукой.
But you see, nowadays prosthetics
В
seem to,
наши дни протезы
they appear to be more about money.
это больше разговор о деньгах.
For example,
Например,
this will cost
это стоит
around about 1.2 million rubles.
около 1,2 миллионов рублей.
What the companies don't understand, they don't understand that
Компании, которые производят, они не понимают.
most people who lose their arms,
Люди, которые теряют руки,
they're manual workers.
они обычные работники фабрик, заводов.
They get paid manual workers' salary,
И они получают обычную рабочую зарплату.
and they have manual workers' basic life insurance.
И они имеют стандартную базовую страховку.
Now, I found for myself,
И я что обнаружил для себя?
manual wages don't pay for these.
А,
Manual workers' wages, they don't pay for these.
Многие рабочие, они просто не могут за это
And
заплатить.
basic life insurance
И
doesn't
базовая
pay for
страховка
these.
тоже не покрывает это.
And this is the big problem facing prosthetics industries nowadays.
И это большая проблема, с которой индустрия протезирования столкнулась
It's
сейчас лицом к лицу.
not the technology,
Это вопрос не технологий,
it's money.
вопрос денег.
Now, a business expert
Сейчас бизнес-эксперты,
they will say, it's very complicated.
они скажут, ну, сложный вопрос, конечно.
But it's not.
Да нет, не сложный.
It's money.
Вопрос денег.
Prosthetic companies do not get funding from governments.
Эти компании, которые разрабатывают протезы, они не поддерживаются правительством.
The American government recently gave $100 million
Американское правительство недавно выдало
to develop one arm. 100
100 миллионов долларов, чтобы разработать руку.
They developed the arm, and yet no one can produce it.
Они разработали руку, но никто не может их
Because
продюсировать,
it will cost $150,000.
потому что стоит 150 тысяч долларов.
And prosthetic companies nowadays, they understand that technology is moving so quickly.
И компании, которые занимаются протезами, они разрабатывают технологиями, и технологии...
They are frightened. Sorry. Technology is moving so quickly.
Технологии быстро двигаются.
The companies, they do not want to invest
Компании не хотят инвестировать
the time and the money
время, деньги,
to make something like
что-то
this.
сделать подобное.
They have to act like every other business.
Они готовы заниматься любым другим бизнесом.
They need to make a profit,
Им нужен прибыль.
because without the profit,
Без прибыли
they don't survive.
они не выживут.
The shareholders aren't happy, the investors aren't happy.
Тогда и владельцы счастливы, инвесторы счастливы.
So instead of making their own versions of these,
И вместо того, чтобы делать версию этого,
they just buy the technology from another company.
они покупают технологии других компаний,
And then they stop them making anything like this
и это их останавливает делать что-то подобное.
until this technology is out of date.
И эти технологии, да, выходят
Obsolete.
из
And
контроля.
consequently, it's the amputee.
Да, стереоиды.
It's the amputee that loses out. The business people, they want the money. The amputee can't afford them. The amputee goes without. Just like 500 years ago.
Те люди...
Did you get
Я
that?
нервничаю, я не слышу отсюда ничего.
Okay. So there are groups of people nowadays,
Много
small
группы людей,
groups,
сейчас маленькие группы,
who are disrupting the prosthetic industry. Disrupting.
которые уничтожают индустрию протезирования.
And these guys are the open source groups.
Это ребята с открытых источников.
In Russia you have Motorika, Ilya Chek and Motorika. They develop a manual hand. You have a guy called Timur and Max Bionic. Max Bionic?
Max Bionic.
Yeah, and they make similar to
Они
this,
делают подобные.
but they use 3D printers
И они используют 3D принтеры,
to make these very cheap,
чтобы сделать это очень дешево,
so that everyone can afford
чтобы
them.
каждый мог себе это позволить.
These are the future of technology
Это
because
будущее технологий.
they understand that everyone's different.
Они понимают, что все разные.
If you look at the hands that Motorika make,
Если вы видите протез, который сделал Моторика,
they're not all like this.
он подобный.
Children like yellow hands.
Дети
like
любят желтые
green
руки
hands.
или зеленые,
They want purple hands
или сиреневые,
because they're all different.
потому что они разные все.
They want to be individuals,
Они хотят, чтобы были
just like you
индивидуальны,
guys.
как мы все индивидуальности.
You're all different. You wear different clothing. You have different
Вы все разные, у вас
hairstyles,
разная вся
different
одежда,
color skin. You're
тоже немножко
individuals.
отличается. Все
That's what makes you
индивидуальны.
human.
Это то, что делает нас людьми.
So for the last 12 months,
Где-то около 12 месяцев.
I've been working on getting something that was.
И я что-то
Different.
работал над тем, что-то такое немножко другое.
I like to be individual.
Я тоже хочу быть индивидуальностью.
So I brought this along today.
И я это принес сегодня.
No one has seen this.
Никто еще этого не
I
видел.
wanted you people at Geek Picnic to
Я
be the
хотела,
first.
чтобы именно здесь, на гик-пикнике, первый раз было показано.
I figure that when you go and stand in the sun,
Если это
Your
если
arms
будет стоять
change
под
colour.
солнцем, то рука меняет цвет.
and I wanted an arm that changes color.
И я хочу, чтобы моя рука тоже меняла цвет.
So I've got this one.
И я себе такой
It
сделала.
works in exactly the same
Она
way.
работает, но точно так же.
But I don't look like any other amputee I
Но
know.
я уже не выгляжу как другой человек с потерянной рукой.
And the fingertips,
И на кончиках пальцев
they glow in the dark.
они немножко светятся в темноте.
And I did that not to be cool.
Это не для того, чтобы быть
I
крутым.
did that so that I can tie my shoelaces in
Для
the
того,
dark.
чтобы я в темноте мог завязать шнурки.
It's practical.
Это так, практический аспект.
You know, I'm proud to be an individual.
И я горжусь тем, чтобы быть индивидуальным.
And I'm very, very proud to be an amputee.
И я очень горжусь быть человеком с ампутированной рукой.
And I'm also blessed to be here at Geek Picnic with
И рад
friends.
был здесь на гик-пикнике с друзьями.
So I'm going to shut up.
Я замолкаю.
And I'm going to let you guys ask questions.
Я хочу,
Hey,
чтобы меня спрашивали.
open forum. You ask me a question. If I can answer,
Если я могу, я
I'll
отвечу.
answer. No limits. Yeah, that's good. Can't hear you. The drunk man at the back.
А насколько тактильное ощущение у вас ближе к реальным?
Magic?
Да.
Do you have a tactical thing here? Maybe it's more real in this prosthetic.
Do I have what, sorry?
Tactical sensing.
No, I don't. I do what my parents told me to do. I watch what I'm doing, and I listen to it. Haptic sensation is something that's coming in. It is happening. People are developing it. But like with most technologies, it doesn't get past development. They develop and they develop, and they get funding to develop. But as soon as they've developed it, the funding stops. Then they have to put a price on it. I mean, there is a prosthetic you can get now. It has they're looking at putting a camera in the hand. So that if you're an amputee and you want to pick something up, you know, you point the camera. And the camera says, oh, it's a thing. I want to pick it up. And the hand will it'll turn around and it'll open and it'll pick it up all with your camera. But I've just done that. The camera puts £5,000 onto the price. Yeah? Haptic sensation is kind of good for some people. For me, it's not necessary. I've got this one, and I've got these, and I've got these. Now, if I was blind, had no arms, and I was deaf, haptic sensation would be perfect. But for me, it's not necessary. Yes, sir. Shout. Shout.
Просто очень интересно, как вы заработали на свой протез.
Oh, I wish I got that. What did he say?
How did you earn money for your prosthetic?
I don't. See, this doesn't belong to me.
Это мне не принадлежит.
This belongs to the company that made
Она
it.
принадлежит компании, которую ты сделала.
If they ask for it back,
Если они попросят назад,
they get it back.
они его получат.
This one,
А эту
I've been an amputee for 10 years.
я ждал как ампутант 10 лет.
I've saved and
Я
saved
копил,
and saved
копил,
for 10 years
10 лет,
to get this.
чтобы получить ее.
I've been very fortunate.
И я теперь так рад.
Most amputees aren't able to do that.
Многие ампутанты не могут себе это позволить.
And this one didn't cost as much as this
И
one.
это не стоит так дорого, как та.
Now that's how I've done it. It's taken me 10 years to save to get this.
И мне понадобилось 10 лет, чтобы
But I don't
скопить на
own
это.
this.
А это мне не принадлежит.
No, I'm just the old guy that shows it off.
Я просто старый мужчина, который носит такую классную вещь.
But there are 500 people who wear this today,
Но сейчас 500 человек по миру носят такие протезы.
which might be impressive,
Может ли это впечатлять?
but there are 10 million
Ну, 10 миллионов
people with their arms missing who have nothing.
те люди, которые потеряли руку.
I
У
am-
них нет ничего.
Very, very fortunate.
Я очень счастливчик.
That's why I speak the way I do.
Поэтому я здесь об этом говорю.
I would love to see the day
И я был бы рад увидеть тот
when I
день,
could walk in Red Square
когда я буду ходить по Красной площади,
and someone say, oh,
и кто-нибудь скажет:
he's got a robot arm.
«О,
And
рука».
say, yeah, so what? He's got two.
Да, и скажет:
I
«Ну
would
да,
love
не
that
два».
day.
Я был рад, чтобы никто не обращал внимания.
Hi, oh, I'll come to you next.
Hey Nigel, many thanks for speech right now. So, how do you charge it? I mean, it's on the batteries or?
Yep, I
Yeah.
just plug into the mains.
And what is the capacity of the battery? How long you can use it?
If I want a fast charge which will last me 3 or 4 hours, then
4 hours.
1 hour.
Okay.
I plug it in at night, 5 hours from flat to fully charged.
Yeah. And two tiny question as well. Can you type in with this?
Yeah, one finger.
One finger.
But then when I had 2 hands, I only typed with one finger.
Yeah.
You know,
Got it.
I'm not very good with technology.
And regarding the codes, I mean, is it open source encoding? Can you program it, or can you use some special works or special
I think
features?
this has been protected by patents, and I hate that.
Yeah.
It should be available to anyone. I'm actually waiting for somebody to hack this. You know,
To get some special abilities, right?
maybe not that one because that might get me into trouble. But yeah, if they hack that one, that might be a problem for me. But if someone wanted to hack this and change the grips, I mean, how cool would it be? You know, it would be just so cool. So I think it should be open source. Open Bionics, they're open source. Max Bionics, I believe they're open source. Czech and Motorica, that's open source. Enable in America, they're open source. You just download the thing like just like a Word document, and away you go. And I think that's brilliant. I really do. Hello.
Hi, thank you very much for this lecture. Извините, я на русском лучше. Вы упомянули российскую компанию Моторика, действительно отличные ребята и работают над дешевыми протезами, но вы также говорили о том, как сложно развиваться этой индустрии, как мало таких точек роста наблюдается. Вот что широкая общественность может сделать, любые люди, которые хотят стать активистами вот этого движения, что они могут сделать в поддержку этих стартапов, чтобы их было как можно больше? Спасибо большое.
Well, first off, go on to vk.com and type in Max Bionics, and I'm sure Timo would answer any questions. It's the small groups, and these small groups, they're not old people like me. They're young people. I mean, the future of the world, because they've not been corrupted by the greed. Yes, they want a good life, just like everyone does. But they're doing this for the right reasons. They're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And they want the technology to go on to everyone. I mean, you've only got to go onto YouTube and VK or Facebook and type in Open Bionics or type in Motorica and just have a look when you see these children. Just see the look in their eyes and the smiles on their faces when they pick something up for the first time. It's beautiful. You know, it is priceless. And when I see that, every time I see that, I get a lump here. And I go, ooh, because that's the way it should be. We should be helping people. You know, when a company will deny somebody the right to shake hands because they don't have 1,000,000 rubles, that's not human. That's a parasite. Living and making profit from someone else's misfortune. That's no better than a maggot chewing on an injured bird. It's wrong. This is why the open source groups, irrespective of what they're doing, but open source groups, contact them. They're the future. Yes, sir.
Здравствуйте.
How long did it take you to how to use your hand, to learn how to use your hand? Sorry, just too loud.
To open it, to close it, to change the grip, 10 seconds. To shake hands, another 5 seconds. And then 5 seconds later, I was crying. I hadn't shaken hands for 5 years. It doesn't take long. I mean, I still drop things now. But hey, you still drop things. Yeah. So it doesn't take very long at all. I think the longest it's taken anyone to get through 8 different grips with this type of hand, I think the longest has been half an hour, 30 minutes. It is so easy. It really is. Anyone can do it. Anyone. Yes.
Раз. The speed and the force of your movements, are these controllable?
Yeah. They have, they call it proportional velocity or something. So
it's not a problem for you?
Yeah, the faster I open my hand, the sort of faster it moves, etc. If I want to pick something up that's like an egg, if I want to pick up eggs or grapes, then I can make it move kind of slow.
I see.
And that's impossible. You see that? You know. So it depends on you. I mean, it's slow, or I can speed it up.
So, I want to tell you, thank you for your information, thank you for this lecture, thank you for interest, and share this to people.
No, thank you for being here.
And I want to ask you about safety. What can you something break with your mechanical hand?
Or can I crush you?
Maybe not you, or something like your other hand or other people.
No,
yes.
You. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, there you go. It's okay. That's maximum. Because if I broke your fingers when I'd squeezed them, then you'd go to hospital and I'd go to jail. But if I get you in, hang on, let me get it right. If I get you there, you're not really going to get away. This one's a little bit weaker than that one. That one, you'd have to really pull hard. This one, you could probably break the fingers, but you'd have to pull quite hard. I've got you.
This have something like threshold?
Yeah, I think they've got it to 2 newtons, whatever. Yeah, it's non-break mode, so it won't break your fingers, but it. Nice to meet you.
Вопросы?
Oh, loads now.
Добрый день, Найджел.
Добрый день.
На один из вопросов такой. Я хотел задать 2 вопроса. На один из них вы практически ответили. Меня интересовала обратная связь. Чувствуете ли вы что-нибудь, как вы контролируете силу сжатия? Потому что 50 килограмм – это довольно большая сила. И второй вопрос. Насколько удобна для вас ваша новая рука, которую вы сейчас получили?
Yeah, I've actually messed it up when I put it on. It's just as comfortable, I hope. This is actually the first time I've worn it. Even when I first had it made, I kept it at home. I wouldn't wear it. I didn't want anyone to see it because, like I said, Russia's quite a special place, and Geek Picnic's quite a special place, and I wanted you guys to be the first in the world to see it. So I'm hoping it's going to be as comfortable as this one.
Я не носил, потому что хотел именно здесь представить. Да?
Yes, sir.
Hello, I have a technical question.
Oh God.
Are you a tech guy?
Okay.
Okay, I saw recently one university, I don't remember which, 3D printed hand prosthetic with bones and soft tissues, and it works. It looks amazing how it works.
With what? With prawns?
Huh?
They did what? So they made a prosthetic?
They made a prosthetic hand. They 3D printed like bones and soft tissues, ligaments, and so on.
It's the way forward.
Yeah.
But this is, at the moment, still almost theoretical.
So, I have two questions. I think that artificial muscles is a great deal. Is there a breakthrough in this field? And when can you estimate when these advanced prosthetics can be affordable and available to wide audience of people?
That's the biggest question. Affordable. It's when can they be affordable? This technology can be made to be wonderful. The Decker arm, like I say, is a beautiful prosthetic arm, but it's £150,000. £150,000. That's 3-4 million rubles. That's not affordable. That's not accessible. They don't even make it. They've developed it, but they don't even produce it. A lot of things that are being developed, and a lot of things that you see on the internet, and they're being developed, but as soon as they finish developing, it stops. Because they don't have the money to produce it. And if they did, people like me, people like you, would you be able to afford it? It's a tough thing. You know, I think what we'll do is you'll end up with a cheap prosthetic which will advance while all these other people are doing their clever stuff. And then hopefully, eventually, it will all come together. I don't know when. The 3D printed hands, the 3D printed bones, etc., they're perfect. But then it's making all of it work together. I mean, if someone said to me, I can 3D print your bones and I can do this and get you a 3D printed skin and it will give you ligament, go for it. Let's try it. But I'll be hanging off trees. I'll be doing all sorts of stupid stuff because I want to test these things to destruction. This, you know, electric fences, they make a noise, but I don't feel anything. You know, it just scares me to do it. But I do it because these things need to be tested to destruction. If that technology comes along in my lifetime, and if they ask me, yeah, I'd do it. For sure. You know, not because I want to be clever, but because I want to break it and show them how far they need to go to progress the technology. But I hope one day.
So, I get it. So you think we are still very far from that?
I think we are, but I think that's only because the people that make the rules aren't really interested. The people who make the rules, they've all got 2 arms, they've all got 2 legs, they've all got a lot of money in the bank. Why are they bothered? They're not going to work in a factory. So they're not particularly interested. The only thing that really drives technology like this, unfortunately, is war. You know, the body system came about because of war. You know, this was developed as part of the arms race, if you like, between East and West, and you guys won hands down. Oh, another pun, hands down. You know, I think the next one, if it's going to progress really quickly, it will be war. And I'd hate to see that happen. I'd rather them just take their times and stay peaceful. You know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello. Come on down. Arm wrestle.
Hello, thank you. Are you afraid of water?
I'm not. This is. Yeah, this isn't. It's not waterproof. Again, why would the company make this waterproof when they can sell you one of these? You know? This is waterproof. If I have to wash up, and my wife's not around, but if I have to wash up, I wear a glove. But I would love this to be waterproof. Nowadays, if I want to go swimming, I take this off and I go in circles. Thank you.
Do you people like you?
Thank you.
Do you people like you?
Do people like me? I think they like my arm. I hope they like me, but I think they like my arm more.
We like you.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, thank you. I like you too. I don't want that. I want this. I like you too. Thank you.
What about musical instruments? What do you want to play on my guitar?
I have a friend in Holland who plays guitar with a bionic hand. I've never played a guitar in my life, and I wouldn't even try. But I can play blues on the piano with one finger.
It's cool, but I would try to help you. I will hold my guitar and you.
I would rather not. I'm really not that musically minded. But like I say, if you look on YouTube, Arie Rommers is a Dutch guy, and he's quite often sitting there strumming the reggae tunes because he's a bit of a rasta. But it's not for me.
Oh, okay. Piano and school. Thank you.
No, thank you. Yes, we are.
Hello, thank you for your lecture. I have a question about what works do you do to test it? Is it easy to break it?
I've tried breaking this one so many times. This one, like I say, I'll be careful with this.
And what do you do to repair it?
I put it in a box in pieces, and I send it away. And I say, oh, sorry. And then
does it cost a lot to repair it?
I don't know. I would think most people would have to pay for it to be repaired. I don't know how much it would cost. Like, I am very fortunate. I understand that. I would hate to break this one. I would hate anyone to break it because then I would find out how much it cost. But I imagine if you have one of these on insurance, I would imagine the insurance would pay for it. I don't know.
So, is it appropriate to do real work, to climb mountains or to take heavy things?
Well, there are things that it can't do. I mean, I couldn't do a pull-up, because it would break. Climbing mountains, yeah, you could climb a mountain. It's legs, isn't it? But I think, pulling your own weight would be difficult. I carry my shopping. I pick things up. I wash up. I take my dog for a walk. I punch my friends. I hold electric fences and the things that make the flies go. I'll put my finger in there just to see what happens, and it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Раз. У меня вопрос такой, может быть, гипотетический чисто. Во-первых, спасибо вам за лекцию и очень вдохновляющий пример человека, который смотрит в будущее, свыкается со своей ситуацией, с положением и дает пример окружающим, что это все, в принципе, не так страшно, что люди могут развиваться, стоит им лишь представлять будущее, да, и не бояться будущего, и эту мысль нести дальше, и своим примером, может быть, показывать, насколько все это замечательно. Но мой конкретный вопрос в том, что Насколько вы считаете, чисто гипотетически, если не брать стоимость протезов, и предположить, что технология разовьется до такой степени, что протезы смогут заменить человеческие конечности и даже больше, стать чем-то большим по функционалу, по, может быть, удобству, то, что даст тебе дополнительные возможности. Стали ли бы вы заменять свои конечности на более развитые технологии? Как легко бы вам было стать бионическим человеком? Ведь я думаю, что как раз люди, те, которые уже пережили такой опыт, гораздо легче адаптируются к этому и станут будущим как бы этой технологии. Я так понимаю.
Okay. If everybody in the world who needed prosthetic legs had prosthetic legs, if everybody in the world who needed and chose to wear prosthetic arms had those, yeah, why not? You could do it, why not? I think while there are so many people who could need this or benefit from this, to think about upgrading ourselves further is perhaps a little bit greedy. But I think in a world where everyone had what they chose to wear, I don't have a problem with that. If you want two thumbs that pick up this way, if you want fingers that bend this way, or another set of hands so that you can pick stuff up this way and this way, you know, fine. But for me, I'm an old guy, and you know, there were 10 million people with arms missing. There were probably 15, 20 million people with legs missing who have nothing. If we sort them out, go for it. But the biggest advancements are going to be when we get rid of the word patent on prosthetics. When we stop this copyright thing on prosthetics and say that, yeah, make one. I mean, the best thing for me now would be for some of you people to say, well, yeah, that's okay, but I can make something better. Oh, that would make my day. I would love it. I would come and test it, because that's the only way that we're going to get these advanced any further. So yeah, I see the day when people will cut their legs off to run faster. But it won't be maybe because they want to run faster, because they get sponsorship in the Paralympics. I think it would be money driven first. But in the future, if that's what people choose to do, and if everyone else has what they choose to have, why not? You know, why not? But the only thing I can do that you can't do is turn my wrist around. And you'll probably go home tonight and say to your friends, I saw this guy today, he can spin his wrist. Yeah? You won't say, I saw an old disabled man who will never touch his wife's face again. He'll never play the piano properly. Scratching his bum's dangerous. You won't say that, you know? So I think in a world where everyone had access to the things that they chose to have, to give them a decent quality of life, if we lived in that world, do what you want. If you want to jump 55 feet long jumps with your bionic leg, go for it. It would make the Olympics really exciting.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to this guy, because you've had yours. Hi.
Еще раз спасибо за лекцию. И у меня вопрос такой больше, наверное, технический. Вот компания, которая предоставляет вам протезы, решена ли там проблема, вот как вы показывали, большого пальца, то есть свобод? То есть вы, чтобы поменять положение, вы вручную его рукой, грубо говоря, переключаете режим. А есть ли же образцы, которые полностью позволяют контролировать, то есть в разных степенях свободы перемещать?
Yeah, this one is done manually. You're right. That makes it £10,000 cheaper. That's the reason. There is, the eye-limb was one of the first of this type. This would cost about £15,000. The eye-limb is £26,000. The Michelangelo, recently produced by the Germans, is £40,000. And the thumb does this. Whoa, hey, there you go. And if I walk along the street, I want to check, well, there you go, it's done. It's £10,000 cheaper. That's why I have this, because I don't have the money. But yeah, they are available. They also make it a little bit more complicated to control, because you have to think of another way to make the thumb move. And I'm only controlling this with 2 muscles. They are developing systems where you use 4 or 5 or 6 muscles. When they're fully developed, yeah, to do this will be quite easy. But by then you should be doing this as well. But we'll see what the future brings. You know. But yeah, good question. They are there.
Спасибо.
Позвольте здесь вот я вмешаюсь. Давайте последний самый вопрос. The last question.
Okay.
Because the time is out. So the last question.
Can you highlight one thing? So from the legal perspective, is this hand a part of you or it's your private property?
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah, I just wonder if, let's say, in case if you hold a gun with your hand and then this gun for some reason will shot some person, right? Then what?
But then what if it was wireless and someone hacked it and I started punching your grandmother in the head? Who's responsible? This is a question that needs addressing. At the moment, an insurance company will treat this the same as an iPhone.
Okay, so it's your private property.
If you stamp on my iPhone, what happens to you?
Well,
nothing. If you stamp on this,
shame on me.
It's the same. But if I break your arm, GBH, I go to prison. I'm a criminal. So yeah, you're right. That needs to be addressed. And there are various groups who are starting what they call cyborg rights and such like to change this. And you know, it's something that does need to be addressed because this is part of me. Yeah. If you broke this, I would be so upset. Just like if you broke this hand, you know. That was the last question. Before we go, this technology has given me a new and different life. And I've been living a new and different life for the last 4 years. My very first talk here, part of my new and different life, was at Geek Picnic in St. Petersburg. And whether you guys realize it or not, just by being here today, you've all become part of my new and different life, and I thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. На этом мы заканчиваем наш сегодняшний лекторий технологий. Огромное спасибо Найджелу. Он его завершил на такой позитивной, жизнеобещающей ноте.